Um, so you might have heard me playing guitar earlier. I've been teaching myself since I was in about 6th grade because I just didn't want to be in school. That's all I had to do. I'd come home, I'd go and play guitar, and that was it. I really didn't have any problems with the public school system until I got to about 6th grade, and then it was all bullying and learning just wasn't fun for me. So by the end of the 8th grade, I just barely went. I didn't do any of my homework. I basically failed out. But my parents always said, oh, high school is going to be different. So when I got to high school, it was all just the same, and I was about ready to drop out. My mother had met Allison through a group she worked with, and she told us about PLC, and I visited as soon as I possibly could, and I joined right after the end of winter break in my freshman year. I've been involved ever since, obviously. So when I was there in that first half year, I did everything I possibly could. I worked with a blacksmith, learning metalwork. I took conversational Russian for like a really small amount of time. I don't remember any of it. I even took a class on operating ham radios, which I missed by 1 point, so I still can't do that. Might go and do that again this summer. I spent a lot of time out in the woods with Paul. He'd show me everything about the flora and fauna around the area, and we were just out there breathing in fresh air. It was great. And shortly after I joined, they brought on an intern named Shelly, an apprentice, and he worked with Paul for a long time as his student and also as his partner in the first years of the learning cooperatives, just really early on. And Shelly knew basically nothing about anything that I wanted to know. But I would ask him stuff, and he would come in the following week a well-versed master on whatever it was. It didn't matter. I talked to him about music theory, which was his passion in a lot of the ways. But I also asked him about copyright laws surrounding Lego bricks and Kleenex and how they might lose their ability to call them what they are, depending on how language changes. My mentor at the time was Justin, and he made math actually fun for me. I wanted to learn. I finished Algebra 2. I've since moved on to other stuff. I'm doing a lot of calculus now. But the only person to be able to do that since has been Paul. I've tried a few others, but nothing. Shelly and Paul really taught me what it meant to be a self-directed learner, but I still needed something else. I needed a drive, a motivation. I'd always been really interested in military and the life around that, and through Allison, I found a program called the Sea Cadets, which is a Navy League-sponsored youth organization similar to ROTC. Through them, I went to boot camp in Virginia Beach, which was a grueling 2 weeks, only 2 weeks, of just heat and misery, and they made us march out in front of a tornado that had formed in a field. And then I went to some more trainings. I went to Ohio for a National Park Service training where I learned what it meant to be a park ranger. And more recently, I was in California at the Naval Construction Training Center learning what it meant to be a CB, the construction battalion for the Navy, which is something I've been very interested in up until recently. Through them, I definitely learned an appreciation of manual labor and the ability to just hurry up and wait. That's a lot of what it is. So after about 2.5 years or so at PLC, I got the opportunity to switch over to BLC. And PLC, when I was there, was always STEM-oriented. Everybody was learning science. But BLC at the time is much more arts-oriented, And I took an interest in that because I've always been playing music. I've been playing bass since I was 6 or 7. And that was a really cool opportunity for me. Since over the last year, I've been able to focus a lot on my music, and I'm looking into taking stuff over the summer to try and get me ready to either see what the local music scene is like or maybe even go to college. I'm not quite sure. And after I graduate BLC this year, I plan on exploring just every interest I possibly have, from machining to welding, construction, whatever I can get a hold of. Because obviously music is there, but not necessarily viable. And I'm still very focused on the Navy in some ways, but I want to see what I can do with music. My time at the Learning Cooperatives has really shown me what it means to be a self-directed learner, but not only that, it showed me who I want to be and what I want to do with my life. So So I'm very grateful for that experience that Paul, Joel, and the Learning Cooperative staff has given me. That's about all I have.